So you've decided you're going to get an e-bike, but you're scared to death to go ahead and get one. You've heard the horror stories about customer service and people getting ripped off buying them online, and that's the only way you can get what you're looking for. Well, I'm going to tell you a way that you can buy with confidence that you're going to get exactly what you're expecting. So stick around. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yep, you heard the little intro there. We're going to talk today. Boy, we got a strong wind coming through here. We are going to talk today about buying an e-bike online and what happens if you get a dud. We've all heard about their customer service. And you know what? That's exactly what happened to me. I'm riding the ECOTRIC bike today, and I've had some people email me and ask me, hey, what happened to that bike? You know, you revealed that a while back and we haven't seen nothing since. And well, what happened was the one that I purchased was a dud. And so let me tell you what went on and my dealings with customer service. Now, first off, let me tell you, this is a bike that I purchased. This is not one that was sent to us for a review or anything like that. And the bike come in, and right from the get-go, let's see if we can, maybe we'll step up on that hill there. Let's step up on this hill here for just a second, and I'll go over what some of the issues were with the bike. Now, this is the bike that we're talking about. It's this is the relatively reputable bike. It's ECOTRIC's Juggernaut. ECOTRIC has a pretty good reputation. This is their, I know you guys that know me, but this is their hub duo. And you wouldn't think I would get a hub drive, but I did. Well, when the bike come in, we had down here on the integrated battery, there was a crack in the cover. Cover was broken on it. And the range extender battery had a hairline crack, a little fracture up here. And so, I don't know if you, but up here. And so I contacted them and told customer service about that. And they said, not a problem. I thought they was going to maybe send me out a new cover and I could put a new cover on that integrated battery. They said, we're going to send you, we're going to replace both the batteries. So, hey, I can't have no argument with that. That's pretty good. Well, we took it out on that ride that we revealed it on. You know, we went up into Virginia. And I started hearing some clicking. And my first thought was the cranks are loose. And so I tried to see if the cranks were loose. No, they were not loose. And so I noticed, though, down here where the controller is, inside there, we had this box. Two of the screws were loose. One was missing. On the other side, two were missing. And the one that I could find was that I had access to was loose. And so I contacted them and told them about that and thought, well, that's the problem. We'll stay here for just a moment. And so they, you know, agreed to send me out the screws right there. Well, in the meantime, I taped this closed so it was tight and tried it out again. And it still was doing that clicking. So I contacted them back and I said, you know, I think I might want to share one more thing here with you while I've got it standing here. Well, no, we'll talk about that part. And I said, it's still clicking, even, whoops, slipped off the pedal there. I said, it's still clicking pretty badly. And they said, send some videos, so I did. And they said, well, we feel like this would be the controller, or the torque sensor. The torque sensor, and so we're going to send you out a new torque sensor. And if you take that to a bike store, you can have them replace it, and when you give us the receipt, we will reimburse you for up to $120. That doesn't sound too good. And so I said, no, I don't think that's going to work real well, because they said they think that's what the problem is one other thing that they said on that. They feel confident that's the problem. I said, no, this bike needs to be replaced. It's obvious that it was got through quality control somehow mistakenly, and it happens, but we need to replace this at this point because it's had too many unrelated quality issues. You know, it wasn't like this was all related to one thing. I think later, and I'll share this later, I think it actually was related to one thing, and I'll share what that one thing that I believe it is, or it was. And so they proceeded to tell me, well, we're trying to get this fixed the fastest way that we possibly can. And that would be the fastest way. Where do we want to go today? You know, I think we'll drop down this way and circle around. They said they wanted to get this thing, you know, taken care of the quickest way that they could, and that would be the quickest way. And I said, no, too many problems with it. One thing that I did not address with them, I didn't even have time to, was this thing had that bike had a little bit of the death wobble at about 22 miles an hour, 20 to 22 miles an hour. I didn't even address that with them at that point. And another issue that I found out later, I didn't even know it was an issue at the time. Let's turn on that headlight there. There we go. Is when you would have that down on the kickstand and raised it up off of the kickstand. Well, now that's a complete idiot coming in that close when he's got room. When you raised it up off the kickstand, you could hear the frame flexing. I didn't even know that was an issue at the time because frames are built to have some flex to them. And so I didn't really think a big deal about that. Now, later on when I got this bike and found out, no, that's not their norm. You know, I found out that was also an issue. But anyway, I told them, you know, we need to replace this. And I told them what Rad did for us when we had a defective bike. They sent us a new bike immediately, had us pack up the old one the way that the new one came packed, and send it back. And that's exactly what we did, and that was very good. And they said, well, we can't do that. Here's what you're going to have to do if you want to have this replaced, is you're going to pack it up the way that we tell you you're going to pack it up. You can go and buy a box if the box that we send it in is not good enough to use, or you've disposed of it already. And then you can call for a pickup and have it picked up and ensure that that person is is the carrier, and any damages you will be responsible for. Any damages in shipping, I would be responsible for. And I told them, no, absolutely not. That's not going to. And then when I sent it back, they would take a look at it and make sure of what it is, and then they would send out a replacement. I told them, no, that's unacceptable. And they said, well, we can speed this process up a little bit by, once the carrier has this bike, the bike that I had in their possession, they could send it out and assume that we will take care of any damages from shipping later. And I said, no, that's still unacceptable. And so that's when I told them, well, I didn't want to do this, but if this is the way we need to do it, this is the way we'll do it. And I'll reveal to you what I told them a little bit later. But wouldn't you know, I got a call from them very shortly after I sent this email that told him that was unacceptable. And they said, well, we just want to work this out. And so then they said, well, here's what we need to do. If you want to do it this way, we can do it that way, but you're going to have to give a deposit because you're going to have 2 bikes that belong to us and you've only paid for 1. And I said, well, now wait a minute. Left turn here. I said, there was a point where I didn't have any bikes and I paid for 1. And I didn't have no problem with that. And I said, aside from that, we've entered into an agreement here, and my side of the agreement has been good because my money was good from day number 1. Your bike, not so much. And so I told him that's unacceptable. Well, let me get back to you. Let me get, I think with a vice president or a president of the company. And sure enough, 24 hours later, they said, well, we're going to make an exception for you, Mr. McLaughlin. We're going to go ahead and send this out, and we can do exactly how you chose to do it. And so that's what we did. And I packed it up, and I did agree that I would take pictures and share the pictures with them so that they can see that it's packed up correctly and that the box is labeled correctly and everything. And so, you know, it was all good with that. Well, what was it that I did that got that type of a outcome? Well, I'm going to tell you now. I paid for this with PayPal. And what I sent them in that letter when they said that I would have to ship it back and I would have to cover any damages that happened to it in shipping, and I would have to box it up this, you know, a particular way, and I would have to pay for a pickup and all of this. I said, you know, I really wanted to work this out between us, but if you're going to insist and that's the best you can do, I guess I'll just let it work it out with PayPal. Well, that's when I got a phone call, like within a couple of hours, and they wanted to work things out. So if you want to purchase a bike online, but you're nervous about it, go through PayPal. Go through PayPal. You got protection that you can file a dispute with it for 180 days. That's 6 months that you can go ahead and file a dispute over a 6-month period for anything. And there's no question in my mind they would have had to take it back, shipping it under their dime. However, I ended up shipping it and I would have got 100% of my money back. There's no question about that with all the problems that were documented with this. And so they decided to work it out. Now, am I sitting here saying BikeTricks is a bad company to work with? No, I'm not. I'm not. Matter of fact, I could have gotten my money back if I really thought they were going to be a bad company and went and bought another bike. But I liked the bike that I got here. And so I wanted this bike. I wanted a good one. It did take them longer than what I had anticipated that it should take them to get this. I know we had another situation like this that Rad Power Bikes. Michelle had a defective bike that she actually rode for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. And we had some issues with it that we had videos in that they were going to send a new controller, but it was working. And the day before we were going to go on a road trip, I went to charge it and it wouldn't accept the charge. And I called Rad Power Bikes to add this to the list. And I told them we was going on a road trip the next day, specifically to go e-biking. And he said, can you hold on for just a moment, Mr. McLaughlin? And he comes back, I don't know, after about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, I was honestly thinking, I wonder what kind of BS they're going to try and put us through. And you know, you could have knocked me over when he said, Mr. McLaughlin, I am truly sorry. I've been trying to find how we can get you a bike overnight so that you have it first thing in the morning so that you can take. And I said, I was blown away at that. And I said, well, you know, we have another bike she can ride on this road trip. I'm not expecting you to create, you know, to generate miracles. There's only one that can do that. And, but they had that bike. That was a Friday. We had that bike in our hands the following Wednesday. And they had us pack up. As we were unpacking that one, we put the foam right around the old one. We put it in there. We sent it back. And there was no, hey, we use PayPal. You need to do this. No, that was customer service, period. I don't even know if they know how we paid for it. But I got to give them, tip my hat to Rad Power Bikes on that. If they had a bike that I really wanted to get, I would have went there just because of that. But this was the bike that I wanted to have. And yes, we had to force the issue, but we had that same thing get done. And so, you know, the bottom line is use PayPal. Anytime that you're going to purchase a bike online, you got a great layer of protection right there if you pay for it that way. And then you know you're going to get what you're expecting. So now, am I pleased? Well, we're right back to where we started. Here's the hill right up here. So let's just take this and go full circle on this. Let's just go full circle right here. And I'm going to just give you a little overview of this bike. Just a real quick one. This is not a review. I will be doing a review, a full review on this bike. Yes, I paid for it. I'm not going to just review bikes that they send to me so that I can sell them. I think you guys deserve to know what's out there. I don't care how we got it. So, but as an overview, this is their hub duo. Yes, it is a hub drive. Holy cow, Blaine, I can't believe you bought a hub drive. Well, I like the lack of maintenance on the hub drive for what we are using this bike for. This is not replacing my Trek. This is in addition to my Trek. But I'm going to tell you real quick what we put on here is we put on these snazzy. If we start up at the front, we put on them snazzy blue valve stem covers. We come up here, we put on our bar end mirror. That's a give in every bike that I have. I shouldn't say that. My Trek bike doesn't have that, but that's strictly off-road now. We put on some blue grips here. We have a light mount here. I'm not using a light mount because I'm using a stock light on this bike. We put on our Poseco phone mount. We did put on a bell on here. We put on our top tube bag. We hooked up the range extender battery. I'll just give you a little teaser there. We got 38.5 amp hours of battery juice right there. That is virtually plug and play. We put on the Bowwood blue pedals, and we put on a new bag on the back. I had my toe peak bag with a adapter attached on here, and between the adapter and the bag, it was making a little rattling noise that I was afraid would come through on the video, so we're going to address that a little bit later, because I do like to be able to slide that bag off and just take it into the house. It has all my stuff in it. We're trying out this seat right here. I think the seat is great so far, so we're going to probably do a little review on that. And we got a cheap old suspension seat post in here. That's in there because it's the correct size for this bike. And so I left the stock seat for Bike Tricks, which is a pretty good seat. I left it on their seat post, and I put this one on this seat post. So that's just a quick overview of what we have done to personalize this bike just a little bit. Now, I've only put on this one 54 miles as of right now, just checking it out to make sure everything is good. And so we're going to get another, I don't know, 40, 50 miles on it, and then we're going to do a review, making sure that everything is tight and right. So make sure you stick around for that review. And hey, if you don't want to miss that, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, if you like what you kind of see on this channel, well, we would appreciate that thumbs up. That kind of helps our algorithms there a little bit, and to put these videos out so that more people can see it. Because quite frankly, a lot of more people need to know what the best way to buy their e-bike is. That's a big problem in the industry. So yeah, with all that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up on that. So until the next time, this is Southern E-Biking, and I'm telling you, hey, you know what I'm telling you. Stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we're out.